Afternoon, folks. Chief Meteorologist Nick Lilia here, taking a look at the tropical update for June 5th of 2019. Brought to you by the good folks at Pine Belt Gutters, helping us out with this. I will say this, things are a little more active today than they were yesterday, even though there's actually less going on today officially than there was yesterday. Try and wrap your head around that one. Anyway, starting things off, still waiting for Barry to show up, but that's the next name on the list. We already had Andrea. That was actually before the season even started. I don't think we get Barry, but we have a very Barry-looking thing happening out into the Gulf of Mexico. Still here early in hurricane season. We got to wait until September before we get to the peak. Generally speaking, looking out into the Gulf of Mexico. If you've been watching these videos and keeping up with us for the last week, you know, we're generally looking kind of close to home. Here we are in South Mississippi, generally just off of our coast down into the Caribbean, off the East Coast. Of course, we're plopped about right there. For us, so we look out into the Gulf of Mexico right now, and what we see is a lot of convection just outside of Houston. And I will say this is what's left of the Invest. And it looks probably healthier today than it has in its whole life. There was probably a short period of time, early on Monday morning, where it looked a little better than this when it was a little further off to the south. But it looks pretty good right now. All right, zooming it back out and looking at a wider view. A little thunderstorm activity and convection just off to the south of Bermuda. Outside of that, we're nice and clear. Remember yesterday I was saying, hey, we've got some stuff floating off the coast of Africa, but I said, don't worry about it. It's going to fall apart pretty quickly. There you go. Water temperatures just not quite warm enough to supply enough heat to keep the convection going down here across the intertropical convergence zone. So back home we go, and there's your what's left of Invest 91L out here. You can see all of the convection, the white cloud tops of the super high, very cold cloud tops up here, and we've got plenty of them just off the coast of Texas here. It, again, looks probably better than it has over the last couple of days, despite the fact that it has a 0% chance of development as we head through the next 2 to 5 days. In fact, the National Hurricane Center in their morning and early afternoon discussion, not even mentioning what's left of 91L here. They said nothing of concern. This is actually getting kind of an extra boost in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere. That's why you see the higher, colder cloud tops here with a little bit of extra energy coming into it from the southwestern side. You can see how everything's getting kind of pulled off to the east. That extra boost is what's leading to the extra shower and thunderstorm activity near it. This doesn't mean that we're looking at any imminent development. As you can see, no chance for development. But what it will mean is basically the same thing as kind of a weak sauce tropical storm or tropical depression. A lot of rain, not much wind. A lot of rain, not much wind, especially on the east side of this thing as we head through the next couple of days across parts of the southeast. Now, we'll go over that on a different forecast. I want to focus on what else is out here in the tropics, since what's left of Invest 91L is of no real concern outside of some rain across parts of the southeast, where they're concerned about some particularly bad flooding across parts of Louisiana. You can see it in here across the little bit of green across parts of Louisiana and Mississippi. 700 millibar moisture, 850 vorticity map. If this is the first time you're watching the grayed out areas, places where we're not concerned about development. So you can just ixnay those right off the map. Everywhere else, then we start looking for areas of blues and greens and yellows and oranges and reds. And I'll give you a real good example of this. A little mid-latitude cyclone, not tropical, is going to dive to the south across parts of the southeast. See that right in there? That is 850 vorticity. That's a lot of spin in the lower levels of the atmosphere. Now, thank goodness this is over land and it's cold core, not warm core. But there's your mid-latitude cyclone. That's the reason that Invest 91L is going to be causing so much flooding. That's opening up the door for all of the remnant moisture from the Invest to get kind of pulled in and rained out across parts of the southeast. This is through Monday. Now I want to turn our attention down off to the south, what's happening down near the Yucatan as we head through Thursday, June 13th. Now recall yesterday, we were talking about this, saying it's still about 10 days out. Not really sure that we're going to see this repeated in future models, but if it is something we need to pay attention to. Well, hey, it's back again. And then as we head through Friday and into Saturday, the 15th, it's a little bit closer to our neck of the woods. Bears watching. We're not too terribly concerned about it yet. Anytime you get something that's more than about 6, 7, 8 days out, on these tropical maps. We look at it, we say, okay, that's something we need to pay attention to, but we're not overly concerned about anything imminent. And you can kind of take that to the bank when it comes to tropical systems. Unless you've got a well-defined, very organized hurricane looking beyond 3 to 5, maybe 6 days, the models aren't very good at figuring out exactly what's going to happen with a lot of these tropical systems. There's times where they do well, but most times they don't. And with this being 10 days out, we'll take this with a big grain of salt. We'll continue to monitor it as we head through the next couple of days. But there's your tropical update from Pine Belt Gutters for June 5th of 2019. Things nice and reasonably calm outside of Invest 90, well, what's left of Invest 91L out there. We'll continue to watch what's brewing in the Gulf as we head through the next 10 days. But for now, consider yourself tropically updated.